Hi guys, I'm live. Chat. I'm so excited. So I am resurrecting an old art. It is stupid cool. It is called tinsel art. And now it's an American folk art. Hopefully you can hear me good. I can hear me. Not supposed to. It's an American folk art. This is so cool. So I'm going to show you it. I'm going to tell you a little bit about it, and then we're going to make one. So this is tinsel art. Now it is called foil art because we didn't have tinsel. But look at that. You see that? This is so much fun. So I want to show you. I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. I'm going to show you a different one, and then we're going to make this. Put that down there. So tinsel art was originally not made with tinsel. It was made with silver. It's been around since the Renaissance era and was found a lot in around Italy and stuff like that area. It's been around that long. As years have gone on, it changed to being made with silver. So it was silver first, and then it went to tin, and that's where tinsel art comes in. I should have had another piece of foil. Oh my God, this is so cool. So tinsel art can be done many different ways. You can do it where you emboss the foil, or in this case, it would have been tin. They would have embossed it or etched into it a little bit, give it a definition, and then they would paint on top of it. A lot of the kids' arts in school, they will do tinsel art with tin foil, which is really aluminum. They will do tinsel art, and they will paint directly. They'll draw a design on the foil and then paint directly on the foil. Mine is a little bit different. And mine is based more on the original style, the way it was done. So mine is actually painted on glass with a transparent paint, and then aluminum foil is put behind it. It's so cool. And so this is funny. So here's a story for you. So in the Victorian era, this started to become popular. And people paid to have their daughters learn this because as a young woman in the Victorian era, it was important to be a well-educated, rounded woman in the arts. They didn't necessarily want you educated except for domestically and artistically. And the reason, so they would pay for these young women to go to school to learn tinsel art, so that this beautiful art would be displayed in their homes, and the men could brag about their women being so talented. And I get the gets and jiggles because guess what? I'm a well-rounded artistic woman. So, yeah, except nobody paid for me to go to school. This art is also known as American folk art because this was done by your average home artists, not professional paid artists. So you wouldn't see like Renoir or any of the big named artists doing tinsel art. They might have, I don't know, but you won't find it in the museums. You will, though, in New York, find the American Folk Art Museum. They have a whole selection of tinsel art because it's been around for so long. And it was actually really popular. Oh, so fun. I love tinsel art. So, and what did women do with their tinsel art in the Victorian era? Because they're painting all these things and they had them laying around their homes now. They would display them in their homes. They would gift them. And they did actually do exhibits for women and sell them. So women were able to have a side hustle besides being a housewife of selling their art pieces, and it was acceptable. So pretty cool. They tended to focus more on the domestic and patriotic themes. So you would find cats and flowers and plants or flags and eagles, which is really funny because that's what my mom did too. They also did birds and fruits. So this is a reverse painting on glass. I'm using translucent paints. These are Master Series paints made in the USA from Reaper Miniatures. Funny thing. So these are for painting on army miniatures, like Warhammer things, but it works really good on glass for what we're doing. So I'm using Reaper paints. Go Reaper. Thank you, honey, for the Reaper. And then I'm using standard acrylic paint for the background. And you can get this at all kinds of craft stores. All right, so let me show you my other one. So like I said, this has been around since the Victorian era, and every now and then it gets resurrected. Now I think it's about time it comes back because I haven't seen it. My mother, this is the best. So my mom used to do this. This is one of hers. I love it. This is on display in my house all the time. She used to do these, same art, and she also sold them at craft fairs. So I remember as a kid, she had an art studio in a third or a quarter of our basement, and she had these in different stages of completion, as well as on display. So she would sell them out of her basement, which I thought was really cute. It was therapeutic for her, which I thought was touching. And me, it just brings a lot of joy when I see it. And so I was excited to do this because I was like, you know what, I do cards for you guys all the time. And I thought that I would do something a little different. So how is tinsel art done? It's got layers. And this is not something that you can do in an hour. The ones that I've been working on, you want to give it 24 hours between each step to dry. I'm not. Some of them are a little over an hour. The black is the hardest part because you're painting, even though it's black acrylic, you're painting on glass. So even the acrylic starts off translucent, and it takes like 6 coats to get to the black to get it solid. But I'm going to drop down to the mat and show you how this is done. This is so much fun. Okay, so here we go. So here's my mat. You don't want my Victorian notes. All right, so the first thing you need to do is you need to pick an image. Like I said, it was flowers, botanicals, fruits, vegetables. This one even has frogs and butterflies. So for mine, as you saw, I picked the heart with the rose on it. So this is mine. Blair. So this is what I'm doing. And this is how you do it. So you find an image and print it. Coloring book pages are fabulous for redoing into tinsel art because they're defined and they have the space and the dark lines. Okay. I want the rose to stay on the left, so you have to remember to reverse it. So what I'm going to do is flip the paper over. Okay. This is a piece of picture frame glass that I got from the dollar store, and I've primed it with a matte clear coat of primer to help the paint stick better. Okay, so you prime it, and then you kind of center the glass for your image. You can't see it very well. Can't get any closer. There's an image there. You'll see it as I draw. I've been requested to try to do the colors a little bit different than the black. So on my original one, I drew it all in black to make it stand out that way. This one was specifically requested to be, let's see what would happen if I'm using a Sharpie to trace the image on the glass. So I was asked to do it in their designated colors. Maybe that's so you can help see the image. So you can see me drawing it. Okay. This is going to be so much fun. You got to see this. This is so cool. Someone's knocking at the door. Someone's ringing the bell. Sounds like a child coming home from the store. Come on in. Are you going to go right upstairs? Yeah. Hi. Is it raining?
Yeah. Very.
Very. Well, change your clothes.
Yeah.
All right. So there's my traced image in the red. These are, again, the roses. And then I'm going to do the rest in green. It's going to be interesting to see how this comes out. I bet you it's going to be pretty. I didn't even think of doing this. I always saw it done just with the black. But I have a feeling this is going to be cool. Keep in mind that anything that was just a little squiggly line, you need to now fatten it up. Otherwise, when you go to paint it, that squiggly line will get lost in itself. So the goal with this is that instead of the black lines, this will be pretty green lines. Do not worry about perfectionism. Art is not meant to be perfect. It's meant to be, you know, yeah, there's skill and technique behind it, but even with this, we are not professional artists. I did not go to art school. Would like to, maybe. I like it better as a hobby. If I were to go to art school, it would just be to learn it, you know, learn some new techniques. But hey, that's why YouTube is out and why I'm making videos, to show people new techniques. Right? So I'm just tracing this. I want to do the whole thing for you so you can see it finished before I go on to the next step. Doesn't take long to trace. Doesn't have to. These are standard markers. These are, I don't even know what they're called. They're artist markers. I don't remember what brand or what they're made out of. These are not water-based paints. These are not like water markers, because they have water painting markers now. This is not what that is. These are more like your regular, I don't even know if it's acrylic in them. If somebody knows, that'd be nice to know. But these are standard markers. You can use Crayola markers. You can use standard Sharpies. All my black ones I did with a regular Sharpie. Even the red here is Sharpie. We just wanted the green. Isn't this pretty? Look at how pretty that is. Woohoo! I'm so excited. Okay. So there's your image traced. Okay. Once it's traced, you go on to the next step. Make sure it dries. I'm not going to do it on this one. So when it's dry, this is where it starts to get time consuming. Once it's dry, you then do the layer of black. So I do all the black first, and I do as many coats as it needs until it comes out like this. So there's, you can see it's nice and dark. The edges don't necessarily matter as much unless you want to matte it. So you can see it's all covered in fingerprints, but you can't see through it anymore. So that's like 6 or 7 coats of black. So then once your black is dry, you get to do the fun part and do the transparent part. For that, I just used basic red and green. I have my little paint pot here. It really does not take a lot of paint because you want it to be see-through. If you don't want it to be see-through, then go ahead and be heavy on it. I haven't done heavy. I've always done it lightly so that you want the tin foil to be able to show through the back. See, it's still called tin foil. It's aluminum foil. You want the foil to show through on the back. So I have a bucket of water. You can't see it. I have a little glass jar of water here, and I have my paints on my palette. Is anybody here with me? Who's here? I know there's somebody here. So now I'm just going to go through, and look at that's heavy. And I'm just going to apply this to the whole thing. You do not need to be neat with this. You can color over the lines because it's the back of the picture. Coloring over the lines is just going to blend in to the paint on the back. So you can be smudgy if you're going toward the black. If you're going toward the inside where you have more images, you want to be a little more careful. But I'm not even on the flower petals here. I'm going right onto the black. I'm making sure I'm covering all of the open areas of image. Oh, it's going to be so pretty. Just color that in. Okay. This is such a, once you get going on it, getting the black down and getting that dry is the longest part of the process. Once your black is dry, you can do these. You can do a whole bunch. Well, I want my squiggles darker, and then I want my leaves and stems lighter. So because I want my squiggles darker, I start my paint there, right? And then I go back as it's thinned out and used and do the leaves so that the leaves have that nice see-through effect. Now, as a uber artist with lots of skill, and I suppose with practice, you could get into shading with the colors. You can even blend your colors and do oranges and yellows or pinks and reds. You can totally get into the blendings. I don't. I just like it simple. One color, because the aluminum foil gives it a really pretty effect in the back. So, yep. Okay, so I'm just doodling away here. Another art project to add to my craft box. But that's okay. I love art. So see how simple that was? It didn't take long. It's all colored in. Rinse my brush. This is not even going to take an hour. Nope, but that's okay. Just washing my brushes. So this is done, and you have to let it dry. Okay. Turn it over. You can see it doesn't look see-through yet, but it will. And when you flip it over, you can kind of get an idea for where you might have missed a spot. So you can come back and touch it up. Give it some more paint. Check any missed spots. Your whites will show through very well if you have a piece of paper behind you. So you can see where you might have missed. And then just go through. Isn't that pretty? A little messy. It's like messy hair day. So there is, you know, I have a follower that I would absolutely love to see her artistic take on this art. She paints stuff all the time. Miss J from Boston. She's from Boston, don't you know? I would love to see her take on this because she does a lot of painting. She does pretty art. So this one is wet. I'm going to put it back here. This is the fun part. Watch, we're already done. Okay, so you let it dry. So now I have my piece, and I still see some bits that maybe could use a little touch up. I'm going to touch this up anyways and then still do the back, just because I have another child that's going to be coming in any minute. He took a walk to the store, different store from the first child. So, you know, it's cute. He knocked before he came in. The other one won't. He'll just come. He'll just barge in. I feel like Mr. Rogers. I have visitors. Who's my visitor today? He won't stay and say hi, though. He'll just breeze on by with his junk food. So I'm just touching this up. It's all right. It might... At this point, it's painted enough. I don't think it'll smudge. But I just wanted to go through and kind of clean it up a little. Add a little more color. It's so cool. This is so fun. What do you see? Just gotta do it right there. This one. Okay, that's dry enough and done enough. I could take a hair dryer to it. I could take an embossing gun to it. Let it dry that way. This is how you put it together. So I took my frame from the dollar store, and I picked the ones with the matte because I really like the matte. But I painted the glass wrong. I should have left the square of the matte on the glass not painted, so I could matte behind it, but I didn't, so I have to matte in front of it. This is the trick. So you take your picture and you put it rough side, the painted side, just like you would a regular picture. So you put it face side down, painted side up. Take a piece of aluminum foil, okay, ball it up, get some crinkles in it, open it up. Now you have texture and shadow in this piece of foil. Okay, flatten it out just a little bit, and then you're going to want to put it behind your picture, and you want to make sure it covers the whole of your image. Good thing is this foil comes on a roll, so if you did a bigger picture, you could totally just, and you can tape the foil together or whatever you need to do to cover it, right? And then you take your backing, put that on, and of course I forgot the back because I buried it. The good news is I kept it close at hand. Now, you can do this with Sharpies and markers to get your black effect. I saw somewhere, and I'm going to try it with vinyl. Okay. I'm checking the top because I want to make sure that I put my back on correctly so that I know which is the top and which is the bottom. Okay. And you just pinch it in place. Hopefully you're not taking it apart once you've got it put together. And then let me turn it over. Now see, those roses are darker, so the foil doesn't show through as much. It does on the green. So you can see it here pretty on the green, not so much on the roses. There's a solution for that. I'm going to scratch it a little because we don't want all that on there. I don't know if water is going to take it off. I think it's too dry. I'm going to blot it and see. Take some of this red off. Napkin. My husband 3D printed me this awesome paint pot. It leaks, but it's still awesome. Put my brushes in it. So I'm just going to use the water. And I'm kind of watering this down, seeing if it'll come off. If not, I'm going to sand it a little just to make the red show through better. Yeah, that's not coming. It dried good, and I painted that this morning. Let's see, what can I use? Sandpaper, I don't have any. I have a tool. Here we go. Work with what you have, right? I'm sure sandpaper would be better because it would be a cleaner scrape. So you want to kind of check it while you're painting it to make sure that you're not heavy with the paint. But again, it's shading a bit. That's a little better. Let's see how it looks. Flip it. The red still doesn't show. So I went too heavy with the paint. Yep. I don't have sandpaper up here. I'm going to sandpaper it and see if it works. The other thing too is you want to make sure that the foil is pressed tight on the glass. If your back is not tight, so if the foil is pressed up against the glass, it doesn't show through as much. So you want to press it. See what it is? There's texture. Yeah. Put this back down. Put this back in. Maybe I just need to make sure that my back was tighter. Kind of hard. It's in the middle of the picture. Let's see. Push that down nice and tight. It's there. You can see it. So that, my friends, is foil art. Or tinsel art. American folk art. Actually been around a lot longer than that because it's Renaissance Italy. So we're talking 1500s. Okay. You just learned. Oh, look, you can see my box. You can. Yay! So there's the art. If you want to see it firsthand, let me know. I'll be glad to show you one. If there's something you'd like done, let me know. I'll make you one. It's a lot of fun. I'll go back up here. Hello. So, thanks for coming. Thanks for hanging with me for 45 minutes. No, half hour. It's only been a half hour today. Look at that. So, an hour a night. I start these, I don't know, 4 nights. Right, so 5 days. So I didn't paint Friday. So 4 nights or all day one piece, because you want to let it get a decent dry between coats or between steps. So you could have 3 or 4 going at a time and have them in different stages of being complete. And then at the end, they go together, as you saw, in 5-10 minutes. So yay, tinsel art, lost art form. Check it out if you ever go to New York. The American Museum of Art has a folk art section, all with a bunch of tinsel art from the 1800s. It is gorgeous stuff, amazing pieces. Yeah. So thanks for crafting with me. Sorry it's only a half hour, but hey, it gives you time to go do something else. Enjoy your afternoon. I'm going to be making videos all day. Have fun, enjoy art, stay sweet, and sweeten someone's life. Bye. And